Okay, to my reading students out there, this video is just an introduction to some of the skills that you're going to be doing in your different modules each week. I'm assuming you've already viewed the orientation module that shows you how to do the different uh, things here in Blackboard. That was the longer video that I made, the first one that said welcome. Uh, if you need to go back and watch it again, by all means do so. I will leave it open there. A couple of things to keep in mind as far as reading skills are concerned as you begin this course. What I'd like you to do is develop a mindset. And what I mean by a mindset is a certain way of viewing reading and viewing this course. I realize that nobody is happy to be in this class. Nobody would willingly say, oh, great, I'm going to have to take a prep reading class. I wasn't thrilled when they told me that I had to take prep math when I went to community college. So I understand. Point is, you have to do it just like I do, or I did. Suck it up. This is it. This is life. You've got to take this if you want to become a better reader and you want to get a college education. This is the route. So you do it. Now, in doing that, what I want you to do is get a mindset on what reading is, because without that mindset is why you've been unsuccessful in the past as a reader. I want you to think of this course as a course in strategies, reading tools, so to speak. Everything you do that you want to do well requires having a strategy on how to do it. And so, let me give you an example. If you wanted to learn how to speak French, drive a car, play tennis, play a piano, any one of those things, they would require a particular skill. Knowing what they are is not sufficient. Knowing how to do it is the most important thing. One of the mottos that I live by as far as my teaching is concerned is an old proverb. And the proverb was an old Chinese proverb, I believe. It said, "Tell me I forget, show me I remember, and involve me I understand." If I simply tell you what something is, like I tell you what a topic or a main idea is, yes, you'll remember it for a short amount of time, but eventually you're going to forget it if all I've done is tell you. Now, if I tell you what a main idea or topic is, or how to find it, and then I show you, now you're going to move up a step. You're going to remember it because you've seen it done. You've had some visual reinforcement. Most of us are visual learners. It helps us to see. And if I then ask you to do it for practice, then I'm involving you. And that's when you'll understand. So you can read books and books and books about how to play tennis. You can watch all the videos you want of the great tennis pros. But until I have you put that racket in your hand and you know what it feels like to hold that racket and how to swing it, you're not going to learn how to play tennis. You can read that driver's manual all day long. You can watch me drive all day long. But until you get behind the wheel, you're never going to know what it's like to have control of that car and how to maneuver it. And so that's like that with most things we want to learn. They require a strategy. I'm going to be giving you in this course a whole bunch of strategies, tools, so to speak, on how to be a better reader. I want you to imagine that you're coming into this course with an empty tool bag. You just went to Sears, you bought yourself one of those nice Craftsman canvas toolboxes or tool bags. It's empty. And I'm going to give you the tools to fill that tool bag so that when you leave this course, you'll know that when you encounter a certain kind of reading selection, that you have a bag of tools with which you can look in and say, aha, I'm going to use my how to find main idea tool, or I'm going to use my how to identify major supporting details tool. Because all those tools are different. Each skill requires a slightly different strategy or tool. If you can keep that metaphor in mind, then I think you'll accept all the strategies I have you do throughout this course. When I ask you to highlight certain things during the week's module, there's a reason for that. The reason is because that's a strategy that will help you understand that particular skill much more deeply. Learning needs to be deep in order for it to be effective. We need to engage ourselves in deep learning. Surface learning only occurs when you just are told something and may be shown. Deep learning occurs when the teacher takes you from the tell me and show me stage to the final stage of involve me. So what I'm saying is there's going to be a lot of work for you to do, a lot of practice of these skills, because you're never going to learn it if you just read about it, hear about it, and see me or someone else do it. You're going to have to be the one who's going to do the extreme work of practice on different reading passages. So with that in mind, I want to keep this video to a maximum of 10 minutes, because I just wanted you to get a mental framework, a mindset. And I also want you to keep another thing in mind. I want you to keep in mind something called schema theory. You might want to jot that down. S-C-H-E-M-A. Schema theory. And what schema theory says is basically what we bring to the act of reading as far as our own background knowledge and experience with the subject that we're reading about, the more we'll comprehend the new reading material. If you know something about baseball already, then an article about baseball that's written in a very technical way will not be difficult for you. If you've never seen a baseball game, ever played a baseball game, you don't know what baseball is, then if I give you a third grade book about the game, you're not going to understand it well, initially at least. So what you bring to the reading, the reader's background, is very, very important. So when you start reading a passage, you need to stop and ask yourself, what do I already know about this subject? And the first chapter is going to ask you to do some things that engage you as an active reader. Look at the boldface headings. Look at the boldface words. The vocabulary words are in italics or boldface print. Look at the section headings. Look at the pictures, the diagrams, the charts. They're all in that text for a reason, to make the reader understand it, to comprehend it on a deeper level. And so you have to dig into that deeper level. You can't just look at it from the surface. I call it deconstructing the paragraph. And we're going to come up against that term very often in this course, because I stress that process. An author constructs a paragraph with words and ideas for someone else to read and understand. You're the reader. For you to understand it, you need to deconstruct that passage. You need to be able to take it apart figure out where is the topic, how do I know that's the topic, how can I test it to see if I'm right, what is the main idea, how can I find it, how am I sure that it is the main idea, is there a way to test it? Sure there is. And you have to know those things, because you're not going to have me or any other professor around the rest of your life when you have to read something for your job. You're either going to read it and understand it, or going to look like a total fool to the boss. And they're going to wonder why they even hired you. So with that little 10-minute overview, I'm going to stop it here and ask you to just keep checking back here for these videos throughout the course. They're very important to your success. Thanks for listening.